Everyone is talking about AI right now. New tools, new chips, new data centers, massive investment, it's everywhere. But almost nobody is talking about the part that makes all of it physically possible. The fiber, the connectivity, the infrastructure behind it all. Because AI isn't abstract. It doesn't just live in the cloud. It lives in buildings, racks, pathways, and networks moving massive amounts of data every second. And as AI grows, the demand for speed, density, and scalable infrastructure grows with it. Which means this isn't just a software story, it's a physical infrastructure story. And for the people building that layer, the cabling, the fiber, the network, this is your conversation too. This is Gruber Wired.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Gruber Wired. I'm Mark Beach.
I'm John Dotson, and hello.
Apparently we don't do the TV intros anymore.
Yeah, that's okay.
Hi, Amber.
Oh, man. You know, it's a beautiful day out there. We're in the 80s, and life is great.
Yeah, baseball season's going. The Suns are trying to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll get there.
Life's
get
good.
there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if they do or they don't, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
I got to tell you, though, it's that time of year. Went out in my backyard the other day just to relax a little bit, you know, and I'm sitting outside, and across from us, there's a middle school, right?
Yeah.
And I could hear all the cheering and the booing from a little league game going on. It's just cool. That atmosphere is just cool.
That
right?
You hear that and the arguing in the alley with the homeless people.
Yeah, that too. Thanks for reminding me.
It's all pure effect, right?
It is. But yeah, it was
catching the flavor.
Just a great moment though to hear the families out there. So yeah, it's just a wonderful time of year.
Well, you know, I kind of get that way about you know, when school's starting, you know, and you have the cool mornings and you hear the marching band playing out on the field, practicing for, you know, the Friday
night game.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good. Yeah, it's really good.
So today we are talking AI.
AI again.
And as Pete chimed in and already said, he said we feed and support AI, which we absolutely do.
Yeah, it's you know, all the data centers are building. You know, that feeds that's right in our center lane.
It is, because what we find out with AI all the time is people are talking about AI, but we're talking from the perspective of the software side of it, correct? Right. We never really see the details of what's taking place behind the scenes in infrastructure.
Right, and what feeds into it. And, you know, that's our core mission, I guess, is, you know, all that connectivity and facilitating that. And, you know, we get people coming in all the time. Even, you know, we're talking about whether it's, you know, schools or, you know, even like military stuff where it's all going to fiber. A lot of it's going to fiber now. Yeah. And I think the AI boom is pushing everything toward higher speed because it's
massive amount of data.
Massive amounts.
We need the speed in order to, you know, transport that data.
Right.
I mean, it's just the nature of the way things are going.
I agree.
I will notice, though, I've noticed over the years in this industry since I've been in it, things have been becoming more compact, correct?
Yeah.
We're trying to scale down the amount of infrastructure.
Right.
But now I think we're at a point where we're starting to see that change in reverse.
Well, you have to be able to store massive amounts of data for sure. And in order to be able to accomplish that, and then so bring it in and push it out quickly. So, you know, it's not a matter of the footprint sizes, you know, getting smaller. The footprint sizes are increasing. It's just the amount of data that can be stored is increasing exponentially.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. So
almost overnight, it seems.
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, I was reading somewhere, or I heard somewhere. I was talking with one of my installer people, and he said, you know, we have over 300 data centers here in just the Phoenix area right now.
Yeah. See, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're there, but yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, they're getting in where they're fitting them in, right?
Yeah, they really are.
So, very important stuff.
Yeah, just that infrastructure alone.
AI is not just software either. I mean, it's all of the components that come together to bring it to fruition.
Yeah, because I think is in the general public, right?
Right.
When you're at home and you're typing away and you're using some AI model, you don't picture the data center, right? You're picturing more of like the cloud interpretation of where, everything is stored.
Right. A lot of people are still using, AI like it's a Google search engine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so much more to it. I mean, the intro videos, I think you've seen, we've upped our game a little bit week after week for the last few weeks with trying to do lead-in videos that are on topic. And I mean, clearly it's all AI, but, we go through and we have take concept, put it through, AI to give us kind of a scripting, tweak the scripting, throw it into another AI to create the lead in, tweak the lead in, and then we end up with the final product. So, it's
pretty neat, and you've been working on that. And I got to say, it seems like it's rather a quick process.
Yeah.
In essence, for just that small little video, you didn't spend a whole lot of time on it, but it's amazing.
No, I've got it pretty streamlined, and I produce a weekly video for the party. We send it out, and Making of America series, and the guy that does it's in the Hollywood area, and he actually produces this, and it's syndicated on radio stations around the country. And then I'm taking, so it's audio only.
Yeah.
And when we first started this, and it's been, I think this week is episode 35, right? So I've been doing it for 35 weeks, 36 weeks. And what we've got out of it was, originally we had nothing, right? We had the audio, and I said, well, why don't we find something and make it visual?
Sure.
And so I started using one program, and it worked fine. And, it required a lot of time on my part, at least 2 hours to get what I wanted, because AI wasn't behaving the way I wanted AI to behave. And it was giving me images that I need to edit and bring, take another AI image generator and tell it exactly what image I wanted, and then overlay that into the area where the auto gen was kind of messing up. Then I found another program to do it, and I've learned how to get everything prepped on the front end. And they still have an editor, but I don't have to nearly edit as much. So I've taken that,
That's cool.
And working with that over time. And when we produce these, it makes it a lot quicker, because there's very little editing that I have to do, because I've kind of learned the process, the workflow, to get it from point A to point B.
Yeah. And what about the infrastructure behind that you're using?
Like,
switches. I mean, what do you have in place that you guys are using for that? Or is it just a standard operating system?
Or
for running your AI models?
Oh, it's just online.
Just boom, just right there.
Yeah, it's a program specifically. Okay. It's AI specifically, utilized for generating content. So the parent company, and I know you used it, right? Opus Clip, Jesse. It takes like long form YouTube videos, and it'll chop them up into 1 minute, 2 minute segments or whatever, but it'll grab highlights, right? Mm-hmm. And create shorts out of it. And so, and it can also, by the way, you can point it to a, let's say an article, a Substack, a published article, and it'll make the video based on the article.
Oh, cool.
So it's pretty nifty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be pretty handy.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But to get to that point, let's take this and let's go kind of this backwards. Let's reverse this, right? To the data center.
Right.
Because really the infrastructure is changing dramatically with the introduction of AI.
Right.
And it starts at the ddata center level.
Right.
Correct?
Well, at the cloud, right? So you've got all of this capacity, or all the requirements that exist to process that amount of data, because we're talking about the sum of human knowledge right now.
Yeah, right.
And the really cool thing about this agent that goes out and you pop a script to it, it goes out and looks at YouTube videos, and it looks at content and other articles and everything. When it's building, it does a research. It has a researcher that acts in the background while it's building what it calls the program. And while it's building that, it's generating additional background content, right? And then once you have a finalized script, that's what the AI voice is going to read.
Sure.
But then it wants all the supporting stuff for it. So it grabs and, like I did something that talked about Albert Einstein. It was Manhattan Project last week. So Albert Einstein and FDR, and it grabbed, 2 headshots of them and put it on the screen. But, it had to go out and grab those. It didn't create those. It modified something that was already out there that it grabbed in to work with.
Yeah.
So it makes it a much better experience because, you tell it to create an image of, whatever, and it doesn't quite get there sometimes.
Sometimes it doesn't, yeah.
Right.
I've noticed that, especially with Sora and some of the other options that are out there.
Right. So this has really worked out well that, this particular tool has just really shortened things up. So all of the things that you're talking about that come into play to get there are all related to speed and capacity, right? So
correct.
The machines that you're running and how fast they are, the speed of the data transmission, it's all now in play in a big way.
And this all starts from a rack in a data center, correct?
Right.
I mean, really, the infrastructure behind it is what we're trying to ideally identify and show where this information comes from.
Right.
So you're talking about how data centers have changed to start with in order to get this information to us.
Right.
And that goes from everything from the building structure itself,
right,
and taking a look at the infrastructure you have, and it could be as minute as talking about conduit sizes. I mean, we're getting to that point where we need this space.
Right. Well, what you can fit in to existing infrastructure, because that's important. Mm-hmm. Not every building is going to be built for what they end up using it for. Got a customer in Boston that's retrofitting 2 floors of a particular building in Boston to be a data center, right?
Oh, okay.
And I guarantee you, when that building was built, it was not built for that.
Not for that purpose.
No,
yeah.
No. So, in order to maximize clearly the real estate that you have to have density in cabling, density in data storage, and CPU capacity, right? And then there's all the stuff that comes with it. So we talk about the building, cooling capacity, all that.
Yeah, cooling's a big one, especially now with AI, because you're just pushing so much information, and these equipment's just heating up like crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, there's just so much going on there. So that infrastructure has to be in place in order for this to work properly.
Right, exactly, and it you want it to last a long time, right? You don't want it to burn up.
Yeah. And as you're talking, though, too, you talk about density, right? And so what we've seen, and I've seen a lot of this, is taking your data racks out there and your cabinets, right? Mm-hmm. And condensing the use space so that you're starting to see more equipment within that rack itself. So getting use space is what used to be a 2 or 3U down to a 1U, a 1U to a half U.
Right.
And so we're condensing inside of these racks.
Well, it was funny because a year ago, 2 years ago, even a year ago, I guess, if you would have asked me, is there such a thing as a 1U that can hold 128 fiber, right? I'd have laughed, right?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
It's there because there's a need for it.
Absolutely is there. And actually even more if you're using MTP connectors, right? Because those are 12 fibers in each one.
Yeah.
And you can just go, that's only 12 of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can fit, how many in a 1U?
Yeah. It's
at least a couple dozen.
Yeah, I'm not sure exact, but it's growing.
Well, we're fitting 48 regular RJ45s in a 2U.
In a 2U, yeah.
Right. And those MTP connectors are no bigger. They're smaller than a slim RJ45.
Yeah.
So, You're talking about RJ45, 12 fiber, you know?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
Easily done.
So-
But you're right. We've seen that now. And so now we get calls for more of that direction. I mean, and it's going there.
Yeah.
I had somebody the other day ask if we could possibly do a 24 panel, right? Keystone panel and a half U setup.
Right.
And so
Right.
we're just condensing and condensing and condensing, but so is the equipment too, like servers.
Right.
They're getting smaller and more compatible that way.
Right. I mean, at the end, you know, we're talking about, you know, how much server space is in a rack, right? And then what's all the supporting cast
Yeah.
for that? Because each one is typically self-contained. You know, you've got your computer, your server, and then you've got, you know, all the connectivity, and you've got the switches and the UPS or, you know, whatever power unit you have in there.
Yeah.
But usually that's self-contained. You know, each one is repeatable, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of them do it a little differently, but that ideally is a nice structure, you know, for a company, for, you know, being able to troubleshoot. It's all happens in one silo, right? So, I mean, it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah,
when
it
you can
does.
do that, yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about the speed? I've noticed speed is changing dramatically as well. I mean, it's just cruising along now, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you look at even so, you know, we went around the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the quality of the video, and,
amazing.
You know, even though, I mean, there's still latency, but
Sure.
The experience was just tremendous.
Well, the speed of light is the speed of light, right? So it's a matter of how many packets can you push.
Yeah.
Yeah, within that dimension of speed of light.
Mama Dotson's got something here.
Yeah, hey mom, how you doing? AI is hard to grasp for the older generation. Yeah, you know, at first I think so. I think it's a little bit, and probably because some of us up in this age, we're just set in our ways, right? You have to retrain yourself.
Right. Well, you know, we've grown up with, you know, HAL, right?
Yeah.
And you know, watching movies that have called out AI for quite a long time now, and those were all conceptual. And now we're dealing with, you know, what is the reality of it? What are the real applications for it? Like I said, a lot of people use ChatGPT like a Google search, and you know, I still get people that they, you know, can you tool this, you know, tweak this up for me, you know, meaning they wrote something and they want me to polish it up. And I'm like, did you try, you know, Grok or ChatGPT?
Yeah.
And ask them to do it? Oh, I always forget about that.
Sure.
But, you know, it's when you teach it your language, when you teach it how you talk, it will kick back stuff the way you say it.
It will.
You know,
it's funny how that works.
Yeah. And so that's, you know, I've trained my Grok and my ChatGPT to be me, or to say things like I say them. You know, what's going to really freak me out, though, as far as AI goes, is that, you know, we'll be able to build these models of ourselves in AI, and after we're gone, our children will be able to have conversations with us.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You can already do that, right?
Right. But I mean, real conversations,
Yeah.
like with your voice.
Yeah. As long as you
with
have the
how
information
you
to
would
input.
respond. Yeah, right. I mean, we're not far from that at all. And it's just
So my mom's trying in. Anyone that's the older generation is anyone over the age of 35.
I think I have a daughter that's 40 that would disagree with you. She's not. I don't think she would consider herself older.
I think the big problem, like Mom was talking about there, is that the technology is just growing faster than the education coming out to educate people on it. Right? I mean, there's an educational gap.
Well, I was in the T-Mobile store yesterday, and I was waiting unjustly, by the way, but I was waiting for somebody to be able to help me, and I was looking at the phones, and that's all they tout on their little promo screens is how they AI.
Yeah.
I haven't used my phone in the AI mode, and I purposely turn it off unless I explicitly want it. because I haven't seen any true benefit to some of it yet. Although I know it's there, and so I hear you. It's really hard to put my brain around it having too much control.
Yeah.
Right. I want to be able to turn it on and off, and then when I need it, I use it, and when I don't want to hear from it. Right.
Yeah.
So,
and one of the problems I think you have out there, and this covers over kind of just generalization of mass media, right?
Right.
It always goes this way. If it bleeds, it leads, right? So what do you hear? You hear about those bad users of AI. You hear about the deep fakes. You hear about the negative publicity of it. So it kind of scares you a bit, and it tells people to take a step back. Oh, I don't want my likeness out there. I don't want this out there, you know. And I think a lot of people get reservations behind that just based upon the way the media is presenting it.
Right.
You know, so don't take that to heart, because there's always going to be bad players out there no matter what.
Right. Well, I mean, it's very, it's very, it's an uncharted territory.
Yeah, we're learning as we go.
And the people that are creating it or have created it definitely can't anticipate where AI is going to take itself, because it does that, right? It's kind of like a child, right? They're educating a child, but they don't know what it's going to grow up to be, right? So, you know, it's not like iRobot with the three laws, right? It's you know, it's going to develop its sense of who it is. Like when we chat, you have your own, you know, Grok or ChatGPT instance, and it reacts and responds based on how you have taught it, right? But then there's millions of people teaching it, so it's learning the true human condition in a way that we don't even understand.
We don't perceive yet.
Yeah, we don't understand ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, knowing all this power is coming down this way, right? And it is growing, like you said, faster than we can perceive where we're at with it currently. Right. How does this play out for installation teams, you know, working on projects out here in the field? When you get a job and you go out there and you start having the conversation, okay, you know, to the business owner or homeowner, where do you see yourself with AI 5 years from now? If you don't perceive it now, how do you perceive where the future is going to be with it? So when you build your infrastructure, you're building it correctly for growth.
Right. Well, I think that, you know, designers probably have a tougher task than installers. I think a lot of installers are, you know, starting to bridge the gap between, you know, copper and fiber, and understanding it. And I was talking with a couple of guys who were here yesterday, a couple of my customers who came in to pick up some stuff, and they we were talking about, you know, some requirements that they had, and they were like, yeah, I don't understand all this stuff yet or anything like that. And so I took, you know, 5 minutes out there to just explain about like the MTP connectors, and I said, have you run into that yet? Because, you know, those are, you know, it's a ribbon fiber with 12, and it can go back into in the back of an LGX cassette, and you got your 12 that come out the front, and you're, you know, a whole lot more density there. You're not running, you know, a thick distribution cable. You're running one 12 fiber cable, or, you know, it's not the same.
No.
And you're not using pass-throughs. You know, it's connected straight into the LGX cassette, and it's all terminated from there. So it's all pre-wired. They really were intrigued by that idea.
Yeah, just to have that understanding and seeing what's out there.
Right. But there's a lot of, you know, a lot of guys just busy doing work.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't have the time to sit down and watch all the YouTube videos, and more than that, understand everything behind it. Because there's some guys that are ninjas in the field, and they do the splicing, and they, you know, understand, and we get orders from customers all the time like that. But there's, you know, rank and file installers that are kind of being dragged along into this.
Yeah.
Right. So more demand is coming for fiber and for people to understand it.
Yeah, and it could be the simple things when you're doing installation that cause you problems, right? Like bend radiuses. especially working with fiber. Different things you got to think about versus working with copper.
Right.
When you're putting a fiber installation together.
Right. Right. And, where does it go from there? Right. I mean, we've all heard the term, bleeding edge, but as far as what's readily available, commercially available to purchase right now is not leading edge stuff. Where the technology has been there already, longer
Been around for a while. Yeah.
Longer than a few years, and we all know what happens with our phones in 2 years, right? Every 2 years, you compare the new model to the old model, and you're going, man, this is a dog, right? Well, I mean, but as far as connectivity goes, the switches, all that technology changes, but it's expensive to replace.
It is.
And when, so a lot of them aren't going to do forklift upgrades. So creating upgradability without having to remove units. So being able to, put in new SCPs, right? Getting switches that have the removable SCPs so that you're not like in a fixed setting and you can change your transceivers out. Right?
So think about adaptability.
Right.
The DAC, be adaptive.
Yeah. So like the DAC cables, those are typically they've been used to like jumper switches and things like that, but there's more to that now.
Yeah, and then the things that they're working on behind the scenes is simple too, like working with your current infrastructure of looking at multiplexing using fiber.
Right.
So that's coming too, where that's going to be huge when they really get that under control and figured out.
Right, and that's simply just splitting light into different colors,
Correct.
which is different waves,
and then putting it underneath one light stream,
one fiber.
Yeah.
Yep.
So being able to put 10 light streams through one light stream through one fiber.
Right.
I mean, and then exponentially that will grow from there.
Right.
So I'm curious to see in the future if there's a limitation to the infrastructure we need because we're able behind the scenes using multiplexing, to change the dynamic in that way.
Right. Yep.
It's
yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, lots happening out there. If you haven't had a chance to play around with AI, and I'm directing this towards you, Mom, just type into your phone, your tablet, Chat GPT, ask it anything. Start there. Just get used and become comfortable with playing around with it a little bit.
Right.
That's why I say start at the basics.
You can't break it.
No.
So, tinker away.
Have some fun with it too, because ask it questions that you already know the answer to, just to verify that it's working correctly in the way you want it to.
Right. There's some pretty hilarious videos online too, like TikTok, where they have conversations with AI. Look at those. Those are.
I'm gonna check that out. That'd be funny.
Yeah. And so one thing to bring up too, I think is super important, is all of this, fiber technology, all of the higher speed stuff, is not just for big business. I mean, big business, it's expensive for them to make the jump. So as a smaller company, you're actually at an advantage if you adopt this type of technology sooner.
Yes.
Right? Because it's not going to be as expensive to get into. Relatively, it might be a little more money, but you're not, like exponentially increasing it by, you have 50 employees versus 5,000 employees, right?
Yeah.
So getting into it, getting familiar with the technology and being able to manage your growth using what's now instead of late legacy type stuff is I think hugely important.
It is,
and it can be an advantage to growing your business.
Yeah, not only you can grow your business with this, but you're going to see the benefits and get your return on investment. Right. You'll get that tenfold.
More directly. Sure.
I mean, it will come through rather, like I said, directly, quickly, once you understand how to use it as a tool, and an effective tool.
Right. Exactly. And we're talking about everything. Especially with AI assisting you in marketing, you can have a whole marketing department on your little AI, your computer using AI.
Yeah.
It can help you develop strategy and sound strategy for how to promote whatever you're doing.
Yeah, one thing really quick. Wow, time flies, doesn't it?
I know, right?
I did look up just so I had some understanding. Are there really any AI laws out there? And there's really nothing
Good
that's
question.
been put out through the federal government yet, or at the state level. They're relying on previously, legislative laws that are out there on governing this at this point in time. But you had brought up that here, especially in Arizona, there are some bills that are coming to the forefront.
Well, so one of the legislators that represents Legislative District 2, which is my district, and the district our company is in, he is chairing the first AI committee in the Arizona legislature.
Oh, very cool.
Once they're done haggling over the budget and all that, I'm going to ask Justin if he'll come on and chat with us about what he's encountered so far and what really interests him. He's the one that also happened to make Pluto Arizona's state planet.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's the guy. He's
Nice.
the guy that introduced that legislation. So Justin's a great guy. I appreciate him a lot. We have a lot of deep conversations about things, and I think it'd be good to have him here.
Yeah, it'd be great if he can come join us.
It'd be fun.
That'd be great.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
here we go again, right?
like, subscribe, and share this podcast. We're here because you're here every Thursday, 3 p.m. Arizona time. But we want to tell you, look for our live podcast. We've got a special one we pre-recorded earlier.
We're going to do some more work on it.
Technically not live, but it's going to be streamed live, if that makes sense.
Is that how that works?
Yeah. And so
I see Amber laughing over there.
So we're going to see what times of day, people go on and actually watch this stuff and have some fun with it. And so we're excited about that because we may start, except for Mama Dotson and Highlander, we get a few comments here and there, but not as much as we'd like. So we'd like to grab people when they are around. And so we're going to be playing around with time slots and things. So look for the live stream when it comes your way unexpectedly.
Yeah, we hope to get some more content and variable content coming out. So deepen in a little bit deeper there.
But we appreciate you all, and hopefully we'll see you next week. For now, I'm Mark Beach.
John Dotson.
Have
Thank
a great
you.
day.